You think blushing is a weakness, a glitch, the one reaction you would switch off forever if you could, the thing your body does at the worst possible moment. But blushing might be the most powerful social signal you own. You didn't choose it. You can't fake it, and that is exactly why it works. Here is what you were taught: that your blush is just embarrassment leaking out, a private feeling that grew too big to stay hidden, escaping onto your face against your will, a small betrayal by a body that was supposed to be on your side. Most people go their whole lives believing the blush is a malfunction, a leftover bug in the human design that does nothing except make a bad moment worse. You feel it climb into your cheeks, and you read it as failure, as the proof that you are not in control. It is not a malfunction. It is a message. And it is broadcasting on a channel you cannot switch off, to an audience you did not choose, for a reason that kept our ancestors alive. More than 150 years ago, Charles Darwin sat down to study this exact reaction, and he came away calling blushing the most peculiar and the most human of all expressions. He noticed two things that still are not fully explained. No other animal on Earth does it, and he could not make himself blush on command, no matter how hard he tried. To understand why your own face would turn against you on purpose, you have to look at what the blush is actually telling the people around you. And the strangest part is the one thing your blush has in common with a signal that no living creature can fake. Start with the machinery. A blush is blood. When a certain kind of feeling hits you, your sympathetic nervous system, the same system that runs your fight or flight response, sends a signal that widens the tiny blood vessels just beneath the skin of your face. Blood rushes in, the skin warms, and it reddens. Simple enough. Except that almost nowhere else in your body do those vessels answer to emotion the way they do here. Your cheeks, your ears, your neck, the upper part of your chest. There is a reason it is called the blush region. Evolution did not spread this reaction across your whole body, where no one would see it. It placed it on the one surface another person is always watching, your face. And it did not install it at birth either. Newborns cry. Newborns flush from heat and effort, but they do not blush. The true social blush arrives later, somewhere around the 2nd or 3rd year of life, at almost exactly the moment a child first understands that other people have thoughts about them. That timing is not a coincidence. The blush switches on the instant you become capable of imagining how you look through someone else's eyes. It is bound, from the very start, to the most human ability of all, the ability to hold another mind in your own and wonder what it sees. And that link runs so deep that you do not even need a real audience to set it off. You can be completely alone, in a locked room, and a single memory of an old humiliation will send the heat rushing straight back into your face. There is no one there to see you. There does not have to be. The mere thought of being seen is enough, because the blush was never really about the room. It was about the watcher you carry around inside your own head. Now sit with the part everyone overlooks. You cannot do it on command. Go ahead and try, right now, to blush on purpose. You can't. You can force a smile that never reaches your eyes. You can fake a laugh. With enough effort, you can summon something close to tears. The entire human face is a theater of expressions you can stage at will, but the blush refuses to perform. It shows up only when it means it, and that refusal, that one stubborn fact, is not a defect in the system. It is the whole purpose of the system. Because in the world of signals, the most valuable thing a signal can possibly be is impossible to fake. The biologist Amos Zahavi built an entire theory around this idea. A signal can only be trusted when faking it is too costly or simply not possible. A liar can say the words, "I'm sorry," with a perfectly level voice. But a liar cannot blush to order, because no one can. So, when the blush appears, It carries a guarantee that language never can. It says, this reaction is real, because it could not have been manufactured. Your face has just told the truth without stopping to ask your permission. And that is only half of why your body does this. And if a question like this is your idea of time well spent, subscribe, because what comes next is stranger than the machinery. What your blush actually buys you is not embarrassment, it is forgiveness. Researchers at the University of Groningen, Corrine Dijk and Peter de Jong, ran a series of experiments to test exactly this. They showed people scenarios of someone committing a small social mistake. Knocking over a tower of products in a shop, a clumsy public slip, the kind of moment you would still be replaying in bed at 2 a.m. years later. In some versions, the person blushed right afterward. In others, the identical person kept a calm, untroubled face. Then everyone watching was asked a simple question. What do you think of this person? The result runs against everything you assume. The person who blushed was judged as more trustworthy, more sympathetic, more likable. The blush did not make them look guilty, it made them look better. It functioned, in the researchers' own words, as a kind of apology the body issues on your behalf, faster and far more convincingly than your mouth ever could. And the one who stayed cool and composed, the person most of us are secretly trying to be in that exact moment, was trusted less. The steady face read as indifference. The red face read as conscience. And notice why the words alone were never enough. Anyone can say sorry. The phrase costs nothing, which is exactly what makes it so easy to doubt. A spoken apology can be a tactic. A blush cannot. It arrives uninvited at your own expense, advertising a feeling you would obviously rather hide. That cost is the proof. Your body spent something real in front of everyone, and every person watching knows it could not have been staged. Think about what that means the next time your skin goes hot. You are convinced it is exposing you. It is actually defending you. The psychologist Ray Crozier, who has spent decades studying this single reaction, lays out what the blush is really communicating. It says you know the rule you just broke. It says you care what the people around you think of you. It says you are not a threat, not someone who feels nothing, not a person operating outside the shared code that holds a group together. A blush is a confession, an apology, and a promise, all delivered in under a second, in a language older than speech. It hands the people watching a piece of information they cannot get any other way, and it does it before you have managed to say a single word. And now the reason it exists at all comes into focus. Picture the world our ancestors actually lived in. Small bands, the same few dozen faces, every single day, for your entire life. In that world, your reputation was not a luxury. It was the thing keeping you alive. Get cast out of the group, and the wilderness finished the job within days. So the question of who could be trusted was never idle gossip. It was survival arithmetic. And in that world, a person whose body would involuntarily announce, "I broke the rule and I feel it," was a safer person to keep close than someone wearing a flawless, unreadable mask. The blusher could be trusted, precisely because the blusher could not hide. The one who never flinched, who gave nothing away, was the one to watch. Unreadable has always meant unsafe. So evolution did something that looks cruel and is actually a gift. It wired a truth-telling device into the most visible part of you, and then it removed the off switch. It made certain that in your worst, most exposed moment, your body would step forward and vouch for you, whether you wanted the help or not. There is a bitter irony folded into this, and it is worth saying plainly. The people who blush the most are very often the ones who least want to. Those who live with social anxiety, who dread the heat rising in their cheeks before a room full of eyes, tend to blush harder precisely because they fear it so much. The psychologist Mark Leary, who studies how people manage the impression they make on others, has shown how tightly blushing is bound to that deep human concern with being judged. There is even a name for the fear of blushing: erythrophobia. And the cruelty of it is that the fear feeds the very thing it dreads until the dread itself lights the fire. If you have ever felt your face betray you in front of everyone and hated it for that, understand what was truly happening in that moment. Your body was not failing you. It was working flawlessly. It was doing the single most loyal thing it knows how to do, even as you silently begged it to stop. And here is what makes the whole design so quietly astonishing. We are a species of extraordinary liars. We can hold a straight face through almost anything. We flatter, we deceive, we perform, we conceal, and we are frighteningly skilled at every part of it. Into that species, that gallery of masks, evolution slipped one small, stubborn, uncontrollable tell. A patch of skin that keeps telling the truth no matter what the rest of you is doing. You were handed the most sophisticated face on the planet, capable of 1,000 staged expressions, and then given one single feature that cannot wear a mask. So here is the question to sit with. When was the last time you blushed, and what did it tell the people around you that your words never could have? Leave your answer in the comments.